Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Our music is still up here. I right in mid-sentence, right? Welcome to the Clackamas County Board of Commissioners business meeting this November 6th, 2014. I call it to order and ask Mr. Krupp to take the roll call.
Well, good morning, Commissioners. We are joined here with County Counsel Stephen Madcore and our clerk to the board, Mary Rathke. Now for the roll call, Commissioner Bernard. Here. Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Savas.
Here.
Chair Ludlow.
Here. Commissioner Schrader is away, but she's coming back next week. So if you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the first thing on the agenda today is a presentation. Mr. Krupp.
Yes, so I'm going to invite Cindy Becker, our Director of Health, Housing, and Human Services, and Erica Silver, who is with Clackamas County Social Services, to talk about Veterans Day coming up. And so Cindy and Erica.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the Commission. For the record, my name is Cindy Becker, Director of Health, Housing, and Human Services. And to my right is Erica Silver, who's the Manager of Human Services in part of the Social Services Division. Erica is going to go through a presentation with you and the public around the services that we provide to veterans. And then at the completion of her presentation, I have the honor of giving a Team Excellence Award for some great work your staff did in veterans VASH vouchers. So Erica, I'll turn it to you.
Good morning, Chair Ludlow, members of the board. My name is Erica Silver. I'm a Human Services Manager. I'm here today to help honor and recognize all veterans in Clackamas County, as well as their family members who also serve in a very important way. Would it be all right to ask the veterans in the audience to stand?
Please.
Nice.
So we often hear about wars and violence in other parts of the world, and we enjoy so many freedoms that it's easy to take for granted. We don't even think about it. We're free to express our opinions with local, state, and federal government. We participate in the democratic process with free and fair elections. We enjoy a high degree of safety and security within our borders. We have individual freedom to conduct our lives as we choose. There's so many other freedoms and which we know are not free. I have a short PowerPoint that highlights some of the work that Clackamas County is doing in support of our veterans. Maureen Thompson from Community Solutions was not able to join us this morning, but their work is also a very important part of this effort. So click away. In Oregon, there's 316,626 veterans. In Clackamas County, 34,380. We have the third largest population of veterans within Oregon. Only about 30% of eligible veterans are currently receiving VA benefits. And last homeless count in 2013, 75 homeless veterans were counted. The goals for veterans in Clackamas County are the employment, training, and education opportunities are available so that all veterans in Clackamas County have the education and skills needed to obtain living wage employment, to ensure that returning veterans receive the support they need to successfully re-enter local communities, and with an emphasis on veterans with physical disabilities, PTSD, and traumatic brain injuries. To provide easy access to VA benefits through the County Veterans Service Office, provide support to families before, during, and after deployment to meet unique needs, that all homeless veterans in Clackamas County have the services and supports they need to regain stable housing, to increase housing assistance options available to veterans, including a variety of housing models to meet unique veteran needs. So our veteran service officers last year met with over 2,000 clients, filed 626 initial compensation claims. 825 claims that they had previously filed were granted. That represents a 27% increase over the year before, and they generated new federal monetary benefits for Clackamas County veterans of $9.4 million. So that increase between 2007 and 2013 represents 89%. So they're doing very, very well in our Clackamas Veterans Service Office. Some of the things they do are help veterans access monthly compensation for service-connected disabilities, monthly income for pension-eligible veterans and their dependents, monthly compensation for eligible surviving spouses and dependent children, additional income for pension-eligible veterans who are homebound or in long-term care, veterans health care, administration, vocational rehabilitation, home loans, state benefits related to military service, such as parks passes and that sort of thing, burial benefits and ancillary benefits in particular situations. So there's a whole range of benefits, and they're really the experts in helping our veterans access every benefit that they earned. They also help connect veterans and their families to services. For example, information and referral, outreach events, employment fairs, and community meetings. We did a free family-friendly stand-up back in January to connect veterans and their family members to a wide range of available services, or in April at Clackamas Community College. And some of our other services offered are the Veterans Workforce Program at Community Solutions. They serve 40 veterans with an average starting wage of $12.36. 40% of those veterans were former offenders, 38% have a disability, and 46% previously received public assistance. These are career track jobs. They're not just dead-end jobs, and that to me is really important. Then in terms of housing, we're doing a fabulous job with the VASH vouchers. 25 formerly homeless veteran households through our housing authority were provided with ongoing rental assistance as well as some support so they can stay housed. And then our Hope 2 program also has a similar ongoing rental subsidy. There's 3 families, 4 adults, and 9 children that are veteran-headed families, and they're receiving housing and support services. At Clackamas Community College, there's the Veterans Education and Training Center and Veterans Service Department. They provided 4,900 individual education and training services. 200 veterans per term utilize the VA educational benefits in pursuit of a degree or certificate program, so that's significant. Coming up this year, we're planning a stand down for homeless veterans in January in conjunction with our homeless count, and we'll help to connect homeless veterans with medical care, food, shelter, programs to assist with accessing housing and veterans benefits. We have 2 part-time homeless veteran outreach specialists, and they're supporting this effort with a year-round project to really go out and find where the homeless veterans are. We're also just conducting a general outreach campaign to make sure that we're doing everything we can to reach veterans and their families who might not be aware of the free services by the Veterans Service Office and might not be connected to any of the benefits they've earned through their military service. We're also doing some outreach focused on veterans in long-term care facilities because a lot of times they're not aware or not connected to extra benefits that they earn that could help them afford their needed level of care. And also, as a result of an investment by the board, we're doing some targeted outreach to veterans during the homeless count. Go ahead. So we still have a lot of work to do. On the employment front, we know that veterans do experience much higher unemployment rates, and we want to make sure that we do everything we can to address that inequity. As far as suicide prevention, veterans in Oregon are twice as likely to die of suicide compared to non-veterans. There's a mental health stigma associated with many mental health problems. It's a serious barrier to veterans accessing needed services. And then there's the trauma that female veterans uniquely suffer, including the impact of military sexual trauma. And then homelessness. It's the majority of all homeless veterans identified during the last homeless count reported having a disability. And so, that all being said, the Clackamas County Veterans Service Office is right here in this building on the second floor. The phone number is 650-5631, and the email is veterans@clackamas.us. You can also find us on the website, the Clackamas County website. And then for the workforce programs, that is down in the main area of Oregon City at 112 11th Street. Their hours are 7:30 to 5, Monday through Thursday, and the contact for them is 650-8914. The email rpalma, Palma, @clackamas.us. So again, I would like to thank, recognize, and honor our veterans and their family members. Please accept our sincere gratitude for your service, your sacrifice, and the freedoms we enjoy because of you. As Cameron Smith, ODVA Director, recently said, you are the best of the best.
Thank you, Erica. So one of the things that Erica mentioned was the VASH vouchers, which are very difficult to come by. They are administered by the VA. They come through our housing authority. And I'm happy to report that we are the only housing authority in the state that has 100% utilization of its VASH vouchers. So it's great. It's a great accomplishment. It's not easy. You'd think, oh, just get a voucher and no problem. Unfortunately, there's lots of bureaucracy, federal and state bureaucracy, and then there is the challenge, which I've mentioned to the board before, of actually finding available housing. We have a terrific, not in a good way, housing shortage. And so all that combination, it just really says a lot about the work that your staff have been doing to make sure that all of those vouchers have in fact been utilized. And we were happy to get an invitation letter to ask us to apply for more. So Tony and her team jumped on that. So I would like to present this award. It's a Team Excellence Award to Tony Carter and the team that worked with her. Tony, if you want to stand up. Tony is the head of our section. Oh, am I supposed to talk into this? Sorry. I hate back to people. Tony manages the Section 8 program, does a terrific job. She is extraordinarily connected across the county. I would also like to thank Nathaniel Mom. Nathaniel is the occupancy specialist assigned to the veterans upon being housed. He immediately contacts the other folks in the team and the VA case manager when problems arise with any of the individuals. And he's also now taking on the role of being the face and voice of the Housing Authority on the Veterans Advisory Council. Unfortunately, Susan no longer works here, and Ken and Debbie are not here. Ken's not here, is he? No, Debbie's not here. Anyway, first I'd like them to come up. Oh, did I just? Okay, sorry. Nathaniel, aren't these are great sweatshirts. I mean, these are great. Team Excellence, so thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, the team.
Nice.
Last year, all the veterans came up and had their picture taken with the commissioners. Is that?
That's totally feasible.
Okay, let's do it. Thank you. Including you guys.
Oh, come on, Tina.
Okay, I got everybody. Ready? Right at the lens. There we go. Thank you.
Don't you all like the team of excellent?
Should. I think you're funny for a minute.
Okay. One more. Thank you.
And now we're going to have an explanation of things from our newly re-elected county clerk, Sherry Hall.
Good morning, Commissioners. I just thought it would be fun to give you kind of the unofficial finals here. Our total turnout for this election was 66.20%, which is much better than what I told you last Thursday, right? That means we had 152,160 people turn in their ballots. And we are going to increase that number a little bit because in Oregon, you can drop your ballot in any county and then it gets to the right place within 5 days. So we still have some ballots coming in from other counties. We'll probably end up with over 70% turnout, which is really good. The election contest updates will be posted to our website several times between now and a couple weeks from now as we process those second look ballots. We actually picked up 1,300 ballots yesterday at a ballot exchange with the Tri-County area, so that's quite a few more. The final election results will be certified on November 24th, and it's after that time that the abstracts of how each precinct voted will be available to everybody. Just thought it was worthy of mentioning too, nobody went home election night. We were there from 7 in the morning until yesterday at 5 for all the full-time staff. And we had 20 temp workers who stuck with us for about 26 hours because the law says we have to count every ballot that gets to us by election day before we can stop. So that's why we do that. And I just want to thank everyone for participating in this voting process. The voter turnout dramatically increased the last 2 days. Maybe everybody was watching your meeting last Thursday, and with all the coaching that each speaker gave,
We did, yeah.
it turned out.
It looks like you have more than a few recounts that will have to be occurred.
A recount happens within 20%, excuse me, 1/5 of 1% difference of the total number of voters. There's one race that I'm thinking of that's around, it was around 3,200 registered voters who voted. Automatic recount doesn't happen unless it's less than 7 different.
My only mention is because I went through them this morning and saw that, for example, the mayor of Gladstone, they've got a 7 vote lead.
9.
We went up to 9. So it looks like there will be something happening.
Anybody else
Possibly.
out there? Any other races?
What's interesting to note, too, is that in Clackamas County, we had a little bit different results on some of the elections than what the state did. Specifically governor, for example. It was kind of interesting to see that, the differential between the state and this county and how they voted on several issues,
Yep, it's a lot different county to county, probably,
for sure.
depending on the politics.
So does that mean Gladstone is a recount?
We don't look at anything finally until 20 days after, because like I said, we have more ballots to count. But with that race at about 3,200 who voted, it would be around 7-vote difference that would be an automatic recount.
That's
And right
all.
now it's 9. It's very small. Anyone can can request a recount at any difference, but they pay for it.
Pay for it, right?
Yeah.
I seem to remember that.
Yes. Commissioner Savas.
I just wanted to say, I know that election night, everyone was trying to log on, and I guess there was a problem with the landing page of the county, not with the elections page. And I think by the time I figured out that if I want to get election results, all I really had to do was go to Google to find the elections link to get in versus going to the county website and then scrolling down because it came up with an error message.
did.
So I just want to say that what I learned was it wasn't the elections piece that was failing.
It was the
it was
formatting.
the landing page or something was
Right.
causing that. And then the other one was just the format of even the report, because I know that a
It
lot
was
of
a
us were
PDF.
looking, it had the bright blue and silver and the nice boxes with everything explained, and then when it finally came out, it was a PDF that was not so attractive.
Okay, this is the explanation, because we have that colorful template up way early, because news media and different people just kind of put that on their computer, and then they just want to go to that on election night. And that's where there was some kind of formatting issue. That colorful piece is actually part of our election software, and it's the Fusion results page. And that's what was not working for some reason. So the backup was the PDF plan, which means we print it out, and that's what you got up there. But we send things from our department to IT, or to our technology services, and they post it. And that department was great. They kept their technical person there all night for us. And I think he went home probably after 6 o'clock when we posted our last one. But it was a formatting issue. And we want to get results up at 8:05. They were actually ready to be read by everyone on the outside by about 8:11 or 8:14. But everybody wants results yesterday. They don't want to wait those few extra minutes. So,
Well,
but
some people were able to log in, and people that had the link right into election results were able to get in right away, so they were available. I know some people thought, well, they're holding back the information, and it was not the case.
that is not the case, because we sent it to them, and there was just something with the formatting of something. But 11 minutes or 14 minutes after 8 isn't too bad.
No, that was fine.
Yeah.
And the media outlets got a hold of some stuff fairly early, so. I think it was more like 11 minutes after also when they first touched that. Because we kept trying, I know Paul did, I did too, it kept being rejected, so 11 minutes is okay. All right, any other questions of the now again newly re-elected clerk? All right, thank you, Sherry.
Thank you, and I think that this is just an area, too, where we can again thank the veterans for allowing us this right to vote, because that's who gave it to us, right?
It is indeed.
Thank you.
And now it is time for citizen communication. I have a card from Tina Olson.
Who?
Who?
Yeah, she hasn't been around lately.
I
A
know.
little bit concerned about her.
It's a shock, isn't it? Good morning, Commissioners and Chair Ludlow. I know it's a shock for me being here today, but I had to come because you know how I am about homelessness. I listened to their speech that they did before, and anybody knows that there's more than 75 homeless veterans in this county. I mean, come on. But I am happy that you guys took a role in hiring these people to do correct homeless counts, because that's everything. And if anybody knows anything about HUD VASH vouchers, that those figures go back to DC to VA to say, hey, we have homeless veterans. Mm-hmm. So you guys are in need. So now it's going to be a little bit of a lag because we didn't give the proper point in time count correctly. So we're going to actually get those when they're needed. And as those 2 homeless families that we had at the military stand up, one family didn't get to help. They're still out on the streets with the 2 kids. So, but the one I did get to help. But all in all, I will tell you my personal story. My husband is a disabled vet, and he used the VSO down here, and he's now 75% compensated.
Good, excellent.
That's what I preach about VSOs because
Tina, how long did that process take? I'm sorry to interrupt your
actually,
time, but you can talk.
believe it or not, and I hate to say this, but it only took less than about a month because he was severely disabled.
Wow.
And it wasn't because we did before, it's because he just didn't trust the VA. So I got him to the point where, because he had just lost his job, and I said, now this is the time that you need to work on the VA compensation. He did, and Gina got him within, I think it's less than maybe 3 weeks, and we got our back pay. We got fully compensated, which we get about $1,500 a month. Which is phenomenal, and that's why I preach so much about VSOs, because these veterans out there do not know this, and they can get back pay on top of this. So that's why I preach all the time about this, but I do want to thank every single one of the commissioners, because you guys have and always will be pro-veteran, and you guys help me in my advocacy work all the time, and you guys thank me all the time, so I appreciate it. I don't get that very often.
Thank you, Tina.
You deserve it, Tina.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your attitude, and I want to hook you up with Mac Woods about this subject, and so.
Well, I got a thing for Mac Woods. There's sometimes there's some just pissed off veterans, and you got to give patience to where patience is due. And sometimes it is a process to help veterans, because I deal with it all the time, and the process is always there. But at the end of the day, you guys always do the right thing. I mean, it might take a little bit, but he just needs to realize that there's some of us actually do work out here to help veterans than just talk about it. So you guys do good work.
Thank you, Tina. I
No
know that the Budget Committee in total, and certainly we gave our advocacy for hiring those 2 additional people to find
Yes.
and identify how many we really have. That was it was an education session as much as anything with our lay people, that, we really have to find these people. And we had the choice to spend that money in a whole bunch of other places.
No, you did.
But, I appreciate you recognizing this board is resolutely behind
Yes.
our veterans and identifying those in need like those.
100%. I will tell people. If Mac Woods come up here, you just call me up here and I'll set him straight.
Oh, no, I don't know if I'll do that, Commissioner
Come on.
Bernard.
I just want to add that we probably are looking for volunteers for the homeless count.
Yeah.
So I've done it at least a couple of years. It's interesting to hear the stories. Also, we did recently lose a VSO officer, and I
We
assume
did.
we're looking for some a replacement. So I look forward to that, because you can see the economic benefit,
Yes.
not only to the vet, but also to the county and the citizens of Clackamas County, and frankly, the state of Oregon. 9.4 or 7 million. That's significant
It is.
monies that help stimulate the economy and create jobs. So
Right. But it comes back to the county. Every veteran we sign up comes back to the county. The money comes back to the county.
Yep.
So,
Thank you.
But thank you, guys.
Excellent, and thank you, Tina. And
No
you have a wonderful heart, Tina.
I try.
You've demonstrated that more than several times, especially with your advocacy for veterans, and we appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Onward to the real business. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to announce the board will recess as the Board of County Commissioners and convene as the Service District Number 5 Board for the next items.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, Mr. Chair, this is a public hearing to consider 6 board orders to add assessment areas to Service District Number 5 for street lighting purposes. And Wendi Coryell will give you a brief presentation.
You've been hanging around here a lot lately, you know that?
I've been around a lot. We've had a busy district. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Wendi Coryell, and I'm representing Clackamas County Service District Number 5, which is the district responsible for street lighting in the unincorporated areas of Clackamas County and for the cities of Happy Valley and Damascus. And this morning, I bring these items before you as the Board of Directors for Clackamas County Service District Number 5. Street lighting is required as conditions of approval through land use for all new residential, commercial, multifamily, and industrial developments. And they can also be installed through the petitioning process in the unincorporated areas of Clackamas County and the city of Happy Valley and Damascus. This morning, I'm bringing 6 items before you. 3 are in the unincorporated areas of Clackamas County, 2 are in the city of Happy Valley, and 1 is in the city of Damascus. First item for your consideration is Area 26-13, which is the Portland to Milwaukie Light Rail Project. And this is a new light rail project, capital project at 2735, 2650, and 2750 Southeast Park Avenue. And this is in Clackamas. We will use a combination of Cobra lights on new aluminum poles and also Tectra lights and poles. This will come into rate D at $1.21 per frontage foot per tax lot each year. And where there's installations of the Tectra style lights, it'll be $250, $395 per tax lot.
Wendy, let me ask, Commissioner Bernard has a question.
Actually, so who pays this? TriMet?
TriMet will be paying it because their properties are fronting Park Avenue, and they are the owners of those parcels. So
Great.
where there's ownership, that's who pays.
I thought I was going to have to do it.
Yeah, we're going to put it on your bill.
Try to avoid that. Make them pay their proportional portion. So, there's no remonstrances received on that TriMet project. On the second area, Area 02-14, that's the Ashlee Meadows subdivision. It's a 15-lot subdivision on 13989 on Southeast 139th Avenue, and this is in Clackamas. We'll be installing the Cobra lights on new fiberglass poles. And this will come into rate C at $67.82 per tax lot each year. And again, no remonstrances were received. Third item for consideration is Area 09-14. This is Rock Creek Meadows, and this is a 127-lot subdivision near 172nd Avenue and Troge Road in Happy Valley. We'll be using Tectra lights on Tectra poles, and this will come to rate R at $253.95 per tax lot each year, and no remonstrances were received. Fourth area is Area 35-14. This is Surrey Hills subdivision, 13-lot subdivision at 16490 Southeast Surrey Loop, and this is in Damascus. And we'll use shoebox lights on shoebox poles. And this will come to rate H at $88.86 per tax lot each year. And the fifth item for consideration is Area 36-14. This is Mountain Gate subdivision, Mountain Gate 2 subdivision. And this is a 12-lot subdivision near 129th Avenue and Mountain Gate Road in Happy Valley. And we'll use shoebox lights and poles. And this will come under rate H at $88.86 per tax lot each year, and no remonstrances were received. And then the last item for consideration, Area 6, or the sixth area, is Area 37-14, and this is the Black Rock Coffee Store. This is a new coffee store on 10910 Southeast 82nd Avenue in Clackamas, and we'll be installing, or the existing Cobra lights are adequate on the frontage, and this will come at a rate D at $1.21 per frontage foot per tax lot each year. And again, no remonstrances were received. So that's all 6 items and concludes my presentation. So happy to
Commissioner
answer
Smith.
any questions.
Yeah, excuse me, regarding the installation of these lights in subdivisions, do you have to dig up the ground to run electricity when you install these?
The developers are responsible for all of the frontage improvements, and the majority of time, yes, it does mean that they're going to do underground facilities. There are some cases in partitions where we allow them to do overhead based on the utility provider, if they allow for that.
But do you have to dig
majority of
up-
time, they would do underground.
Yeah, I know the line has to be run underground. Is it already installed as part of the initial development, or do we have to go back in and physically dig up stuff again?
It's already done as the initial development.
That's what I wanted to know. So it's not going to be a big construction project?
Correct.
Yeah.
Any other clarifying questions by the commissioners? All right, I'm going to open the public hearing portion of this and ask if anybody wishes to speak
Don,
on
you wanna
any
say
of these matters. There being none, I'll close the public hearing portion and ask for the motion.
I move we approve the board order for the 6 assessment areas within Clackamas County Service District Number 5 as presented today.
I'll second that.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Bernard and seconded by Commissioner Savas. And any further comments or discussion? I'll ask the clerk to call the poll.
Commissioner Bernard.
Aye.
Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Savas.
Aye.
Chair Ludlow.
Aye, passes 4-0. And Wendy would like to do a public service announcement on how to report street light outages.
I would. At this time of year, it's kind of good to remind the public that if they notice a light that's out on all day or any trouble, we've had reports recently of some that had accidents where the pole was taken out. They can call at the 503-742-4691 or the 503-736-5710, or the light can be reported at the email shown at lightout@pgn.com. And then the other thing I'd like to throw out there is they can always contact the district directly by calling my direct number at 503-742-4657, because I like to take those in and kind of see the light all the way through to make sure that it's been repaired by PGE.
Wendy, what is the N in PGN?
It's one of the PGE links, so it's directly reported to PGE's light out repair line.
I just didn't know what the N stood for. Yeah, and I thought it would be at pge.com, but it is not, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
You sure it's right?
I
An
can
N,
get that
not an E.
information to you.
I just
It is
checked
definitely
It is
PGN.
correct because Pacific Gas and Electric has PGE.com.
Oh, well, that would be a problem, wouldn't it? How'd you know that?
I just checked it right here.
Oh, my gosh, that's amazing.
I always thought we ought to have a library of all these acronyms, and it was
Don't you
very
think?
interesting when people correct people on the pronunciation of an acronym, because there's so many different meanings. So I get a kick out of that when what is the proper way to pronounce acronyms?
Slurred. All right, Wendy, thank you very much for your presentation, and the result is same. All right,
Thank you.
I'll announce the board will adjourn as the Service District Number 5 Board and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners for the remainder of the meeting. And now it's time for the consent agenda. I'll ask the clerk to read the consent agenda by title.
Okay, the consent agenda. Under Health, Housing, and Human Services, approval of a renewal revenue participating provider service agreement with Pacific Source to provide primary care and behavioral health services. Approval of a professional services agreement with Performance Health Technology for third-party claims administration services. Under the Department of Transportation and Development, approval of a cooperative improvement agreement with Oregon Department of Transportation and the City of Damascus for the Highway 224 at Springwater Road Traffic Signal Project. Approval of an intergovernmental agreement with Oregon Department of Transportation for right-of-way services for the Highway 224 Springwater Road Traffic Signal Project. Under Department of Emergency Management, approval of fiscal year 2014 State Homeland Security Grant Program Agreement number 14208, 14209, and 14210 with the State of Oregon. Under Elected Officials, approval of previous business meeting minutes. Approval of amendment to the intergovernmental agreement between the District Attorney's Office and the State of Oregon Department of Human Services to enhance the quality of juvenile dependency proceedings. And that concludes the consent agenda.
All right, is there a motion?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion been made by Commissioner Bernard, seconded by Commissioner Smith. Any further discussion on them? All right, Mary?
Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
Commissioner Savas?
Aye.
Commissioner Bernard?
Aye.
Chair Ludlow?
Aye, passes 4-0. And now, be still my beating heart, it is time for our county administrator communication update. Call it what you will.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have 4 items to share with you this morning. First item, I wanted to announce that Clackamas County has a new way for the public to get information that's specific to county services and projects and programs of interest. Mary is putting up the county's splash page with the website link to this. Our Public and Governmental Affairs departments implemented what's called Gov Delivery. It's a new addition to our website, and in the coming months, we're going to be adding topics and creating some online publications and other opportunities for what would be a two-way dialogue between county staff and the public regarding county services. I just want to invite our listeners to visit the county website, to sign up and learn more about this service. I know I have signed up, and I have begun receiving email notifications about various pieces of information of interest. So that's the first item I wanted to share with you. I have 3 other items of really good news. One, I wanted to acknowledge our emergency management department. I received a letter from David Stuckey, who's the director of the Oregon Office of Emergency Management, noting the accomplishments and performance of our emergency management department. And in specific, he noted our significant progress in the areas of evacuation planning, continuity of operations, debris management, and damage assessment. He also noted that we have received full-scale exercise credit for our response to the 36 Pit Fire. So I want to thank Nancy Bush and the team over at Emergency Management for that. I also want to congratulate the staff at the Milwaukie Center for receiving an age-friendly designation from Elders in Action. Elders in Action is a nonprofit organization that advocates for local seniors, and it's one of the leading voices in the region on aging and senior-related issues. To become a certified age-friendly facility, a company or agency must apply to the program and then be rigorously evaluated on a number of categories, including things like physical accessibility, the ease of the website, marketing materials, and other community services. The staff at Elders in Action had this to say, that the Milwaukie Center is an asset to the community with a wide variety of useful and attractive programs and great meals. On behalf of the administration here, I want to thank our team at the Milwaukie Center for achieving that accomplishment. And then finally, I got a copy of a letter acknowledging that our Transportation and Development Department has been certified by the Oregon State Department of Transportation to essentially receive more authority and autonomy regarding the delivery of federal aid project funds. So Clackamas County is actually the first county in Oregon to become fully certified to perform design, bid and award, and construction administration functions for federal aid transportation projects. I'll read a little bit from the letter. I want to commend you and your staff for its expertise, professionalism, and tenacity in this successful accomplishment. ODOT appreciates the positive collaboration from your staff, which has and will continue to enrich the development of the certification program. So congratulations to Mike Besner, Barb Cartmill, and the rest of the staff over at DTD for achieving that. And that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Krupp. And now it's time for Commissioners' communication. I'll start with Commissioner Savas.
Okay, well, I will, as we kind of briefly discussed on last Thursday and on Tuesday of this week, we were, myself and Commissioner Bernard, and I believe Chair Ludlow will be attending a Climate Smart Joint JPAC Impact meeting tomorrow at noon on Tuesday. We're going to get our staff update and preparation for that meeting, and more information was coming in, and it's making it very difficult for our staff to go through the material and outline it. And as of this moment, I was hoping to have that update and some of that material before us, but staff's indicate it'll be this afternoon. So we're getting to the midnight hour. I just want to say it's very difficult to make a strong, comprehensive, logical argument and make corrections. So it's putting us, we're handicapped. So there might be an ask for more time should, and Commissioner Bernard and I discussed this a little bit. So with that, I was at ODOT yesterday afternoon, moments apparently after they learned of the slide on Highway 224, and I was very pleased to see. I just happened to be there for a different purpose and see how well they organized and got right on that and responding to that, somewhat of an emergency, obviously. As a result of the 36 pit fire, debris will continue to come down, has been coming down, and this landslide in a very big way. So they'll be working on that. With regard to, I know ODOT takes a lot of, we've been talking about congestion, it's coming up almost everywhere I'm going, and I just wanted to just kind of give kudos to ODOT. I know that a lot of people blame ODOT for a lot of things, but at the same meeting I was at yesterday afternoon, you know, it's very clear to a number of people that when we have issues that are non-emergency, you know, if we have an issue with a certain project or why are we sitting in traffic, that why won't ODOT fix that? In this region, it's not actually an ODOT decision. The region needs to come together and decide where they want to spend their transportation dollars. So if this region wants change, they want to see our highways and, you know, the congestion solved in a comprehensive way. You don't completely ever solve congestion, but you can make reasonable improvements to relieve some of that. And I think as we're going forward, this question and this issue will be more at the forefront. In discussions, a lot of people express concerns about that and how we remedy that. But on the other hand, there's some people believe that, well, we should be biking more, we should be walking more, and we should take transit more. So I think there's a philosophical discussion that needs to take place, but at the same token is that there's not a lot of people that use that mode even when it's there. You know, the sidewalks in Clackamas County are used, but they're not congested. The bike lanes in Clackamas County are used, and they're not congested, and so the need seems to be obvious. And it's to a point to where we really need to, I think we need to understand what the people's choice is. So I really gave this a lot of thought, and what I really want to ask our commission to consider near term is going out and doing, or asking the region and being a part of that study, do a jobs and transportation preference study. Specifically, in this case, I'm talking about transportation. Maybe we ought to really find out, similar to the housing preference study, what people really think, because if our elected leaders are out there saying one thing and our public are out there thinking there needs to be another, you know, I want to better gauge that. So I think that's something I want to bring forth for the BCC to talk about, the Board of County Commissioners to talk about, and see if we can't get regional buy-in, and if not, we perhaps consider doing it on our own, but find out what people really want to do with transportation. Do they want a reasonable approach to solving some of the congestion? And if so, maybe we should gauge that, just like we did with housing, with the housing preference study. So that's what I had for today for discussion, and I'll pass this on to the chair to determine who's next.
And it is Commissioner Smith.
Oh, thank you,
It
Mr.
is
Chair.
Commissioner Smith.
Yeah, Paul, I too was going to give a report on the Pit 36 fire landslide. I understand Highway 222 is closed, or is it freed now?
It's still closed until they clear it.
Yeah, so that's an issue, and I just wanted to do an update on that. Well, we had an election on Tuesday, and yeah, I know, I'm just going to give a little report on that. I want to thank all my supporters for their loyalty in voting for me for Congress. I called Kurt Schrader to congratulate him. We laughed and shared campaign stories. I asked him if I could still visit his office in Congress on behalf of Clackamas County, and he said, of course, we could talk about anything, and we agreed to work on the timber issue in Oregon as we try to move something forward. Things don't always turn out as expected or promised, but I'm quite happy serving Clackamas County as your commissioner for 2 more years while I run for re-election. I look forward to working on federal projects like the timber supply from our national forest, the development of a Blue Heron paper mill site with the Willamette Legacy Partners, Willamette Falls Locks, and then local issues like land supply for family wage jobs, the Eagles Landing Development Project, and public housing. Cheers and thanks to you all. Just know I'm your friend, Tootie Smith. Thank you.
Thank you, Tootie. Jim, Commissioner Bernard.
Well, that actually brings up a good question. So that's an official announcement that you're running for re-election.
Well, I guess it is. I just
sounds
wanted
like
noting that.
I have been asked a lot, so if there's any doubt out there, there you go.
Hey, me too, so there it is. It's all out there.
So there was a possibility I wasn't going to be here today. I had an opportunity to serve on jury duty.
Oh.
But I called in last night, and I was 232, and they went to 86, so I was a long ways away from it. I'd actually have wanted to do jury duty for years. And I remember when I was called, I was working and going to school, and there was just no way I could afford to do that, miss all the classes. And one other time, also a bad time, I forget what that was, and this was my opportunity, and I wasn't able to do it. They didn't call me. I'm very glad the elections are over. I'm also pleased that the percentages were higher. I think of voting as an obligation. I've never missed one, and I never will. And some countries, Australia, for example, you're fined if you don't vote. Not suggesting that we do that, but it would be great if people would, fulfill their responsibilities to vote. Interesting enough, I wasn't here last week. I was on vacation. I was in Palm Springs, which I've not been to since about 10 years. While I was there, 5 people were killed by hit-and-run drivers. If you've ever been to Palm Springs, they have the worst street lighting I've ever seen. And the speed limits are 50 miles an hour through the neighborhoods. And I just couldn't believe it. And they're all hit and runs, and they're all at night, and it's almost impossible to get across the street. And so when we talk about street lighting, the importance of that and the value and safety in that is just tremendous. I was going to ask Dawn, when they compliment us on the hard work, do they throw in a check?
You'd wish.
I do wish. And I also attended yesterday the Traffic Safety Culture Committee. Did you guys know we have one?
No.
Well, Safe Communities, which is a group that is partially funded by Justice Court dollars, and the goal is to reduce or eliminate traffic accidents, and the importance of what we do on our roads and how we reduce that. Joe Merrick, who's our engineer, traffic engineer, the stoplights, stop signs, and all those complaints and accidents they evaluate. We're talking about a campaign to drive to zero, because 29 people have died so far in fatal accidents in Clackamas County. And that individual makes, they figure, about $1.4 million a year. So 29 people won't be making $1.4 million in their lifetime. Excuse me, did I say year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anyway, but the economic impact is $4.4 million in their lifetime. And that's a huge impact, loss of life. So saving lives has an economic impact on Clackamas County and, of course, the families. So it's always a good investment to make sure that Clackamas County does its the best job possibly can to save lives, and that's communicating with kids. We gave an award recently. Kids who did posters. That program was run by this group, and the texting. A lot of accidents are texting. Speeding's the greatest cause of accidents. I never speed. So, yeah, he's whistling over there. I've had a few of those. But also, recently they helped support a purchase of a piece of equipment called, I think it's called a Faro, is what it's called. It's this thing that they take to a crash, set it on a stick, and it takes 7 minutes, and it scans the whole area, makes a 3D image, and so that they can analyze the traffic accident. Otherwise, it's somebody taking measurements, taking notes, spending hours blocking the street. This piece of equipment in 7 minutes will analyze it. Then they take it back to their office and do an analysis of the accident. Pretty amazing stuff.
I've seen that.
Have you?
Yeah.
I've got to see that.
Well, I haven't seen the thing. I've seen it on TV, how it works.
Oh, I gotta look at that. Anyway, so I mean, we are making some real positive investments. We talked a little bit about $4 million that we spend to clean ditches, remove brush, and signs which are not part of the road, the actual pavement on the road. But we also talked about how important it is to maintain those. But it's also important that if you have a street or a corner and your shrubs are hanging out over, take the responsibility, go out and trim them. It saves taxpayers dollars and may save a life some days. So we talked about how we can communicate to the community about, taking some responsibility for your own brush. And but that's a really good group, and it's Drive to Zero campaign, and that's reduced to zero crashes and save lives, and make sure those people have an opportunity to get back to the community. And it's a great group, and I appreciate attending it. And back to the election, I'm glad it's over. I actually called Kurt Schrader and I said, good luck, but we don't want to lose Tootie.
Thank you, Jim.
You're the one responsible for it, huh?
He is, yeah.
Thank you. Last night, several commissioners, Jim and Paul and I, went to a celebration, if you will, at Waverly Country Club by Clackamas Women's Services, celebrating the first year at the Safe Place. Now, just to throw some numbers at you, this is the ones handed out last night. 573 survivors sought services for the first time at a Safe Place, the Family Justice Center. And this is in the past year. Over 350 people have toured the facility. Participating partners received 411 hours of domestic violence specific training. An average of 250 survivors are served through the Safe Place each month. And there were from April to September, there were 97 protective orders applied for on site, and 91 were granted. So a great success as a Safe Place, and we anticipate will continue to be so. Tomorrow, Paul mentioned it, is a pretty big meeting. This Climate Smart, which we had some discussion at the last meeting. Certainly, we opened it up to the public. But the information, it's like a constantly changing goalposts. On Tuesday, we received some interesting changes, and even this morning, we received yet some more. So it is hard to believe that it has taken this long, and all of a sudden it's 11:59 p.m. We must pass this as soon as we can, and I don't know what kind of an effect that and I'm an alternate, but that we will have on the finished product, because it appears in so many situations like this, when Metro proposes something, that it's a done deal. It's probably not much difference here, and it will go to a legislative ask for the funding, and we'll see how that goes. I want to remind everybody that our county offices are closed on Veterans Day next Tuesday, November 11th, for the Veterans Day holiday. Also, Mary will flash on the screen your last opportunity this calendar year to come to our town hall meeting. This is the last one for 2014. And it will be November 12th and hosted by the Happy Valley Business Alliance at City Hall in Happy Valley, 16,000 Southeast Misty Drive, Happy Valley. And the time is from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Now, last year, this was provided to me by Mary, and I liked it a lot. And so I'm going to read the same thing I did last year, and it's about veterans. What is a veteran? Many of us have known a few veterans. Many things have been written about veterans. They are men and women who look the world in the eye. They feel an extra heart tug when the flag goes by. They step a little faster when they hear the beat of a military band. They are veterans. They are the doughboy of World War I, the GI of World War II. They have seen the Korean skies and fought the cold and silent battle of uneasy Berlin. They are veterans. They are sailors, soldiers, Marines. They are flyers, Seabees, Coast Guard. They are veterans. They have the quiet dignity of a person who knows the price of freedom. They have the clear eyes of a person who respects themselves. They are courage, living on Main Street. They are patriotism, mowing the lawn on Saturday afternoon. They are good citizens with a smile on their faces. They are veterans. They are peacetime soldiers, peacetime leaders. They are the first to volunteer in times of trouble and the last to come home. They are veterans. The veteran is a first-class fighter with a quiet walk and a sentimental grin. They are America's most honored citizen. They are veterans. A learned person did say this: freedom is a fragile thing. It is never more than one generation away from extinction. It is ours by inheritance. It must be fought for and defended constantly by each generation, for it comes only once to a people. Those who have known freedom and then lost it have never known it again, and that was our President Ronald Reagan. So, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you watching today, and we did it in 1 hour exactly, almost a world record for us. But there being no further business before the commission this day, this meeting is adjourned.